dear Venerables, dear Upasikas. In this session, we are going to discuss about the significance of renunciation, because the renunciation is very important. You all, especially our Venerables, they renounce home life to homelessness. I would like to discuss some points related to renunciation, because our Bodhisattva renounced his palace, and in search of the reality of the life. Therefore, in this session, I hope to discuss certain points related to the topic. Venerable, there are some happiest and rare things in the world. When we discuss about the Buddhist teachings, some happiest things in the world and also some rare things in the world. First of all, I would like to pay my attention to this point. This is very important because you just entered the order. You just entered to the spiritual life to practice spirituality for a few days. Then, what is the happiest things in the world according to Dhammapada? It is mentioned like this: Sukho Buddhanang Uppado. Sukho Buddhanang Uppado means the arising of the Buddha is happiest thing. It is good. The teaching of the true Dhamma is good for the world. Right? The first thing is the arising of the Buddha. That is the happiest thing. It has been mentioned in Dhammapada how it is mentioned: Sukho Buddhanang Uppado. Sukho Buddhanang Uppado. The appearance of the Buddha is the happiest thing for the world. Right? In this world. Why? Buddha is like a sun. Buddha is like a sun, because even though our sun in the sky, it dispels the darkness of the world, but the Buddhas appear in the world to light our mind, right? To dispel the darkness of our mind, right? Not the world. Therefore, even though thousands of suns arise in the sky, that is not the real light. That is not the real light. Right? When Buddhas not in the world, their dharma is not exist in the world, at that moment we are in the dark, because we don't know what is the reality of the life. We cannot understand. Once Buddha mentioned in Anguttara Nikaya, in Tripitaka, okay, Eka Puggalo Bhikkave Loke Uppajjamano Uppajjati Bahujana Hitaya Bahujana Sukaya Lokanu Kampaya Atta Hitaya Sukaya Devamanusana Katamo Eka Puggalo Tathagato Arahan Samma Sambuddha. One person arise in the world for the benefits of the many sentient beings and gods and deities. Who is that? The Tathagata Arahat Samma Sambuddha. That means the Buddha. The Buddha is the person who appears in the world for the benefits of many people and divine beings. Right? Because his teaching is very important. Among all the sentient beings, Buddha is the foremost. Once one of royal princess, she went to the Buddha and asked, Venerable Sir, having gone to the refuge of the Buddha, can we refrain from the hell? She asked. What is the Buddha's answer? Yes. Princess, if anyone goes refuge of the Buddha, he can avoid from the hell. What is the reason? She asks, dear princess, in this world there are many kind of sentient beings. Those have no legs, 1, 2 legs, 4 legs, many legs, right? And seen, unseen, different kind of beings in this universe. Among them, the Buddha is the foremost. Buddha is the foremost. If anyone goes the refuge of the Buddha, then he or she has more results, more good results. As a result of that, they never go to hell. They go to the heaven, right? Because with Buddha we identified a stainless teacher. Stainless. Why we say stainless? Because there are many kind of stains in our mind. With the enlightenment, the Buddha could destroy all the defilements, stains. Buddha could clean up his mind. Right? He fully cleaned up. Any kind of defilements did not exist with the Buddha. With his high enlightenment, he destroyed all the fetters which related to the samsara life, which related to the suffering. And also, he destroyed all the defilements, right? Therefore, during the time of the Buddha, there were some religious teachers. The 6 contemporary teachers were very famous. You may know it, Purna Kashyapa, right? Makkali Gosala, Ajita Kesa Kambala, Sanjay Bellatiputta, right? Nigantanath Putta, like that. The 6 very famous teachers. They had epithet Sangi, Gani, Ganacharya. They were the famous teachers with many followers. And also, the Prince Siddhartha, ascetic Gautama, practiced meditation under the very famous, well-known teachers called Alara Kalama and Uddakarama Putta, right? They had super jhanic power. Right? Alara Kalama was the ascetic who had 7th jhana. Aking Chanyatri is called. The Uddakarama Putta had 8 jhana. Right? And Bodhisattva practice. And Bodhisattva could generate those jhanas. But that is not the solution. That is why he went away from them. Bodhisattva ascetic Gautama thought, this is not the solution, this is not the liberation, what I am searching. Therefore, he was not satisfied with their teaching, even though those are the powerful jhanas. Right? He went away from them. Jhana is not the real solution. That means during the time of the Buddha, those spiritual teachers, they taught sila, virtue. They taught concentration, samadhi. But they didn't know about the wisdom. Right? Wisdom. According to Buddhist teaching, without wisdom, no one can destroy the defilements. That to destroy the defilements, we need wisdom. It is related to insight meditation. Insight meditation, right? Therefore, the virtue and concentration was available. They were available in the society. Some people, they had power, the concentration power, but they didn't know the way how to destroy, how to eliminate, uproot the defilements from their mind. Only the Buddha can do it. That is why time to time Buddhas appear in the world and they show the path to destroy the defilements. right? To destroy the defilements. Therefore, the arising of the Buddha is more benefit for the world. And also, if he is the holiest one in the world, if we think about his, or if we recollect his qualities, we can accumulate much merit according to discourses. Okay, I am saying these things according to discourses. These are not my own views. Okay, these are not my own views. I am talking here using the discourses. Discourses. If anyone thought the great qualities of the Buddha, that is goes to the heaven. Once, Venerable Ananda asks the Buddha, Venerable Sir, what is your power? How far you can spread your power? How far? Then at that moment, Buddha mentioned, dear Ananda, the one planet which has one sun, that is called one planet, that kind of 1,000 planet, and also that kind of 1,000 planet, and Chulanika, Majjhimanika, like that. Okay? If Buddha need spread his power, Buddha could spread his power over the Mahasahasi, Tisahasi, Mahasahasi Lokadhatu. It's immeasurable. We cannot take idea because it is immeasurable. Right? Then at that moment, one venerable, Chunda, one of Chunda here, right? Chunda asks Venerable from the Ananda, dear Venerable, why you ask these kind of questions from the Buddha? Why don't you ask the question related to karma, punabhava, right? Cause and effect theory, Four Noble Truth? Then don't you know that these kind of question not beneficial, and also Tathagata had to take extra time to explore these kind of questions. Then at that moment, Buddha heard that word. Then Buddha addressed Chunda, dear Chunda, don't say that, don't say that. If Ananda Thera passed away now, because hearing the power of the Buddha with this happy mind, if he passed away, he will be born for 7 times as a Sakra, the leader of the deity, or 7 times as a universal monarch, Chakravarti, and more times he can avoid hell, and he can be born in human life, human world and divine worlds, like that. That is why the Buddha's appearance is great for the world. It's more benefit. It generates more result for the world. Okay, and through the Dhamma, what is the importance of the Dhamma? Dhamma, you know, after the enlightenment, Buddha thought all the successful persons have good teachers. Who would be my teacher? Then he checked the universe to find the suitable teacher to respect, right? But Buddha checked all the universe, right? But he couldn't find any individual, okay, superior than him by virtue or concentration or wisdom. Not superior one, he couldn't find the similar one also. Then what did he do? But he further thought, I should have a teacher. Who would be my teacher? Okay, the doctrine, what I realized. The doctrine would be my teacher. Then he selected as his teacher the doctrine, what he realized. Okay? What is this doctrine? This is none other than, this is the cause and effect theory. Do you know, have you heard the first sermon of the Buddha? You may know the Dhammacakka Sutta. Do you know the Dhammacakka Sutta? Right? The first sermon of the Buddha. When Buddha delivered the first sermon, first day, the Gonadeniya, he realized doctrine. Right? Then Buddha made a joyful utterance. Anyasi vatabo Gonadeniyo, anyasi vatabo Gonadeniyo. Oh, Gonadeniya realize. Oh, Gonadeniya realize. What realize? What kind of Dhamma realized by the Gonadeniya? What is the Dhamma realized by Gonadeniya? Have you heard it? Huh? Gonadeniya realized doctrine after listening to the first sermon. He was the first disciple. Then Buddha also made utterance, joyful utterance, having known it. Gonadeniya understood, Gonadeniya realized, Gonadeniya realized. What kind of Dhamma he realized? Cause and effect theory. He realized cause and effect theory. Right? We have to realize cause and effect theory, dependent origination. Dependent origination. But it is so hard. It is with us. We know the theory. We know the theory, right? We know the theory of the cause and effect. But it is hard to realize. Realization and knowledge is different. We have knowledge, but we haven't realization. Right? We have knowledge. We know the cause and effect theory. We can explain part by part, right? But we are not the saint. Why? We couldn't realize it yet. That is the reason. Yeah. Then, and also the rare things. What are the rare things? The acquired birth as human. It is so rare. You know? Acquired birth as a human being, it is rare in the world. Once Buddha taking little soil from the earth, okay, on his nail, he asks, dear monks, what is more, the soil on my nail or soil in the earth? What would be the answer of the monks? Soil in the earth. Right? The human beings who die in the world is like a soil in the earth. From them, the who comes to happyful realms, happyful state, are like soil on the nail. Is it clear? Right? That means the many people after the death, they go down. That means hell, painful places. Why? They don't believe karma. They don't believe karma. Those who do not believe, accept karma, they cannot be born as human being or divine being. Once Buddha mentioned, dear monks, in this moment I recollect 92 kappas. Within these kappas, only one ascetic born in the heaven. Only one. Right? Within 92 kappas, only one ascetic. Those who have own views, right? Ascetic, Ajivaka, Paribrajik, like that, different kind of ascetic group at that moment, at that time period. Only one ascetic be born in heaven. Others had gone to hell. Because if you don't believe karma, according to Buddha's teaching, we have no chance to be born as a human being or divine being. Right? Thus Buddha mentions Kiccho Manussa Patilabo. Kiccho Manussa Patilabo means this human life is rare to the beings. Nowadays, I think 900 crores, I think. Human people are in the world, 900 crore. But we cannot count how many animals in the world, how many insects in the world, how many unseen beings in the world. We cannot count. Lots of, right? Lots of. That is why that's a human life is rare. It is hard to gain it. It's hard to gain it. And also rare life a mortal. As a good human being, because even though we get the human life, in our society, some people has lots of problems. They cannot spend human life properly. Sometimes they are blind by birth. Some cannot hear, some cannot talk, some cannot walk by birth. Why? Certain kind of unwholesome karma joined to their birth. That is the reason. The both mix, then born with the disabilities, disabled people, right? Disabled people. That is their karma, according to Buddhism. But you all be born as a good human being. Why? This is the result of the previous good karma. This is the result of previous good karma. You have a chance to be a monk. What is the reason? This is the result of the previous karma. Your previous karma resulted in this moment. That is why your mind automatically bent to spend recluse life. That means monastic life for certain period. Right? This is your previous karma. Therefore, the mortals, rare is the life of mortals, and rare to hear the true Dhamma. True Dhamma. Very rare. Last 92 kappas, there were only 7 Buddhas. Last 22 kappas, 7 Buddhas only appeared in the world. Only 7 Buddhas. Right? Vipassana Buddha had born 91 kappas ago. And other Sikivesabu Buddhas, they had born in the 30th kappa in the world. And other Buddhas in this kappa, right? Kakusanda, Konagama, Kachapa, Gautama. These Buddhas appeared in this very kappa. The other Buddha, the Metteya Buddha, he will be born in this kappa also. Right? 5 Buddhas appear in this kappa. But when we consider the previous kappas, no Buddhas. Only few Buddhas. Only few Buddhas. Then, therefore, without Buddha, we cannot practice Dhamma, because Buddhas are the holy nobles who found this Dhamma. They can find this Dhamma, but others cannot. It has been mentioned in the first sutta, Etam Bhagavata Bharanasiyang Isipatane Migadaye Anuttaran Dhammachakkam Pavattitang Appativatyang Samanenava Brahmanenava Devenava Marenava Brahmunava Kenechiva Lokasming. No one can deliver this. No one can preach this Dhamma except the Buddha. Only the Buddhas can deliver this four noble truths. If anyone others, when the disciples, what they do, they learning from the Buddha, they preach. They cannot realize themselves this one. Only the Samma Sambuddha can realize himself, and he can preach it to others. He can make understand others. But others, the silence Buddhas, they can realize that they cannot preach. The Arahant, they cannot realize themselves. They can realize this with the guidance of the Buddha, and they can teach it. Right? That is the differences. Therefore, the true Dhamma is rare in the world, and also rise in Buddha also rare. And also the 4 lion's roar of the Buddha. We talk about the lion's roar in the morning also, right? There are 4 lion's roar. That is also very important. Have you heard about the 4 lion's roar? 4 lion's roar. If Buddha declared, I became a Buddhahood, no one can reject his words. Any deity or Mara or Brahma, anyone can prove, oh no, you are not the Buddha. You haven't got the enlightenment. Like that, no one can reject that one. That is the one of lion's roar. Right? That's the lion's roar. When Buddha declared his Buddha enlightenment, no one can reject it. But coming to the front of the Buddha, right? Through the credible information, no one can reject his enlightenment. Not human being, but deities or Brahmas. That is the lion's roar. Then also, when Buddha declared, I destroy all my defilements, no one can see any defilements Buddha has. Oh no, you didn't destroy all the defilements. You have this kind of defilement. No one can say like that. Right? That is his confidence. Confidence. And also when Buddha explained the demerit, these are the demerit. If anyone practices the demerit, then he will go hell. He may have lots of sufferings in the future as a result of demerits or papa, sin. Then no one can argue to the Buddha, no, those are not the demerit, those are the merits. Right? Those kind of dharmas will produce as good, will ripen in the future with happyful realms, or with the they will produce, they will have good result in the future. No one can say like that. The opposite of that, the last one, when Buddha explained the wholesome or merit, these are the merit, these are the wholesome. If anyone practice this merit and wholesome, he or she can get happyful result. They have good result in the future. Like that, they can shorten their sansaric life. They can be born in heaven. Like that, when Buddha explained that one, no one can reject that idea. That Buddha's words. Others cannot say, no, those are not the wholesome, those are unwholesome. Those are not the merit, those are demerit, sin. No one can say like that. No one can read. Those are the lion's roar. Therefore, dear friends, the Buddha's words we accept as the lion's roar. Lion's roar. No one can reject. Right? No one can reject it. That is why we have to learn this Dhamma. No one can reject these ideas. What is the nature of the Dhamma? Nature of Dhamma, as I mentioned before, the nature of the Dhamma, it is it is with us. Once the powerful sage, he had traveled in search of the end of the universe. Have you heard Rohitasa's story? Rohitasa, right? You may not know that one. One of sage, powerful sage, using his divine power, he had traveled very fast, okay, in search of the end of the universe. But his life ended and he couldn't find the end of the universe. Next life, he was born as a deity and came to the Buddha, and he explained what happened to him. Venerable Sir, in my last birth as a sage, I tried to find the end of the universe, end of the world, but I couldn't find. Right? My life ended before before come to the end of the world. At that moment, Buddha mentioned, Gamanena na gantabbam. Through the journey, no one can find the end of the world. Right? You have to look at your own body. You have to look at your own body. The world and the nature of the world and nature of the body is similar. What is that? Lujjati palujjati is loko. Impermanence. What is the nature of the world? Impermanence. Always changing. Always changing. What is the nature of the body? Same thing, right? Always changing. Always changing. Right? We are always, now you are sitting here, but you stand as another one. Not the same one, right? Once one philosopher said, no one can jump to the same water twice, right? Twice. Why? Why? Water change. When he come from the water and when he jumped again, then water has changed, right? According to Buddhism, no one can jump to the water twice, but human being, considering the human being, right? One person cannot jump to the water twice. Why? This person, after jumping to the water and then he came from the land, from the water, and when he jumped again, then he changed. Always changing. Always changing. Right? That is why nature of the Dhamma is changing, impermanence, and all the Buddhas, do you know, when friends, according to our tradition, all the Buddhas appear in the world to teach 3 words or 6 letters. Have you heard that? 3 words or 8 letters. 3 words or 8 letters. What are those 3 words? The Pali words, right? Yeah. Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. These are the 3 words. What are the 8 letters? Anicca, 3 letters. Dukkha, 2 letters. Anatta, 3 letters. 8 letters, right? All the Buddhas appear in the world to teach 3 words or 8 letters. Right? That is means insight meditation, right? It is related to insight meditation. Vipassana. Vipassana. Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. Some deities in the universe, they have long life. That means they are living thousands of years there. They think they are permanent. They are not disappearing from that world. But when Buddha, after attaining to the high enlightenment, they mention Sabbe Sankara Anicca. All the conditions are impermanent. Then what happened? Those kind of deities also, they frightened, right? Why? Because Buddha never say lie. That means we also impermanence. We have to go another world, we are changing like that. We cannot stay forever here, they thought. They became frightened. That's why nature. Through them, all the Buddhas teach same Dharma. Okay? We are talking about the 28 Buddhas, 24 Buddhas, 7 Buddhas, right? We are talking about the different kind of Buddhas. But all the Buddhas teach same teaching. Their names would be different, their similes would be different, right? Their stories would be different. But Dhamma is the same thing. It is never changed. Why? All the Buddhas expounded the reality of the nature. Reality of the nature. That is the thing. Therefore, all the Dhammas are same, okay? Then ordination is available on the human world, as I mentioned before, right? In other worlds, no ordination. No ordination. Arahant also available in this world and first divine world and the 5 pure realms, Brahma realms. You know, there are 4 major hells, right? The severest one we call Naraka. It has 136 divisions. 136 sub-hells. Okay, there are many. But no Arahant, no ordination, only pain. The 6 heavens. In the heaven, there is no ordination. But in the first heaven, according to the information, Arhat would be available. But 16 Rupavachara world, that means material worlds, related to the dhyana, first 4 jhanas. No ordination. No ordination. Sometimes the upper 5 realms called pure realms, all the non-returners born there, but no ordination. But Arahant would be there as a Brahma. Brahma. But 4 immaterial worlds, no Arahant. No ordination. No ordination. In these human worlds only we can ordain. Right? This is the good place to get rid of suffering. Free from this suffering. We can practice this ordination only in the human world. That is, this we have that chance, right? We have that chance. Please think about that. And what is important? The ones Buddha mentioned, what is important? Worship to the trees and mountain or realize the Four Noble Truth. Because during the time of the Buddha, some people, they worship to the trees and mountains to gain blessing, to get blessing. Right? Arama Rukka Chaityani, Manusabha, like that. They pray for the trees, they offer trees to get blessing. Buddha, what is important? Is it important to worship to the trees and mountains? No. Worshipping to trees and mountains, no one can get rid of suffering. No one can free from the suffering. Right? What is the important things? Realize the Four Noble Truth. Four Noble Truth. After the enlightenment, Buddha made a joyful utterance. Have you heard that? Who heard that one? After the enlightenment of the Buddha, he made a joyful utterance. Have you heard? Aneka jati sansara, like that. Right? At that moment, Buddha mentioned in this verse, right? Gahakaraka dittosi. Carpenter, I see you. I see you. Gahakaraka dittosi. Punagehanna kahasi. You cannot make house for me again. Right? You cannot make house for me again. I see you. Who is this carpenter? Karma, right? Karma. Buddha mentioned aneka jati, millions of birth. I was wondering to find you, to meet you, to see you. But today I saw you. You have to stop the making houses for me again. From today you cannot make houses for me. Buddha mentioned. Punageyanna kahasi. Why? I destroyed craving. I eradicated. I uprooted my craving. I'm not going again to the birth. Right? Buddha mentioned. That's the first joyful utterance of the Buddha. Right? Therefore, the Four Noble Truth is very important. At the first sutta, in the first sutta, the Buddha explained Four Noble Truth actually. What is Four Noble Truth? In the future lessons, you can learn the Four Noble Truth. That is the essence of the Buddhism, right? The very hard part of the very essential part of the Dhamma, Four Noble Truths. They identify the background of renunciation. What is this renunciation? It is called nekkhamma, right? The Pali word is nekkhamma. Nekkhamma. Nekkhamma is defined isolated habit, reducing sensual pleasure. Why we need to renounce? Why you became a monk? Just get the experience? It may be, but the real intention, why we have to practice this monastic life, right? To reduce our sensual pleasure. Sensual pleasure. Because due to this sensual pleasure, we are binding again and again to the samsara. Right? Therefore, the real intention of the renunciation is what is? What is that? Reduce or destroy the power of sensual pleasure. There are 6 roots we are talking about in future lectures. What are the 6 roots and the nature of the roots? Okay, roots. The why Prince Siddhartha renounced? Why other Mahatheras they renounced? They saw the disadvantages of the lay life. Right? There are many disadvantages. As a lay person, you have to face different kind of problems when you leave home. Different kind of problems. You never expected sometimes, right? You never expected, but problems come day by day. Problem, what is the result of the problem? Unsatisfactoriness, pain, anger, different things, right? Many things. We have only pain. Problems create pain. Prince Siddhartha, as a royal prince, he thought how to resolve these problems in this life. That is why he thought to renounce the world. And also he saw the 4 signs, right? Old man, sick man, dead body and recluse, right? He saw that it strengthened his determination. Then finally he decided, today I have to go. His wife Yasodhara gave a birth on that day, but on that day night, with great determination, for the compassion of all the child and all the ladies, not only his son and his wife, with the compassion of all the human beings, he decided to go. Right? He was succeeded. Right? The nekkhamma, the Pali word is nekkhamma. Right? Nekkhamma means, right, to start the isolated life. At the very beginning, in our canon, Pali canon, there is a sutta, Agganya Sutta. Agganya Sutta. Have you heard that sutta? Agganya Sutta, it explains the origin of the society and its expansion. How this society origin and how it expanded, right? With the problems. Then at the very beginning of the world, right? Some group of people thought the isolated life. They away from the society and they went to the forest and they meditated, right? Meditated. The Brahmana clan arose from that, from those people. But now later they changed their philosophy. However, the Brahmins arose like that. Okay? The sensual pleasure, the main aim is renunciation, to reduce or destroy the sensual pleasure. That means it is created to craving, tanha. It has been mentioned, tanha janeti purisa. Tanha janeti purisa. What is the meaning of tanha janeti purisa? Tanha is the creator of the human being. Tanha janeti purisa. Tanha, craving, is the creator of the being. Right? The tanha, craving, is the close relative of the sensual pleasure. Right? Sensual pleasure. Right? That is why we observe precepts. Why we need precept? Observing precept, we try to control our mind and body. Firstly, we control our body and words, then mind. At the very beginning, we cannot control our mind, right? Firstly, we have to observe precept. Precept support us to control our body and speech. Then we have to practice meditation to control our mind. At the very beginning, we cannot control our mind. Can you control? If you have meditated, you can. If it is not, you cannot. Right? Even though your body is here, your mind is not here today. Your mind is at your home or somewhere else, right? You are thinking other things sometimes. Right? The renunciation from home to homelessness, the first step of the liberation process. Right? This is the first step. If anyone needs to liberate it from the suffering, they have to take this action. Homelessness means monastic has no homes, right? No homes. Home means love, affection, right? Craving, anger. Home symbolize those kind of mundane qualities, mundane thoughts, mundane defilements. Homelessness means away from the evil thoughts. Mundane objectives, right? Away from the mundane objectives. Homelessness. Homeless people is different from in the society, right? Some people, those who have no homes, we say homeless. But here homeless means monastic. Monks. We have no homes. Right? We are traveling from place to place. Nowadays, according to the society, social background, we have temples, right? But we are not the owners of the temple. We just live in the temple, right? We just live in homelessness. We are practicing homeless life. Homelessness. The most ancient Asian religions have demonstrated the fruitfulness of ascetic practice. which is isolated from sensual pleasure, neglecting world life, which aims at absolute freedom. Right? During the time of the Buddha, there were 62 religious groups, but all are wrong. Buddha mentioned Micchaditti, 62 wrong views. 62. Okay? 62 wrong views. But Buddha did not introduce 63rd one. Right? He did not introduce the 63rd one. 62. Right? Based on two major philosophies. All the 62 religions existed based on two major philosophies. Do you have any idea about that? Do you have any idea about that? Okay, I will explain that. We call two main extremes. Extremes. What are the extremes, Venerable? What are the extremes? Don't you have any idea about the extremes? Extremes. Actually, wrong philosophy, two major wrong philosophies. Okay? There were two major wrong philosophies, evil philosophies, that is called, then the first sutta, Buddha rejected those two, right? What is that? Self-indulgence and self-mortification. Two extremes. Two extremes. Self-indulgence and self-mortifications. What is self-indulgence? What is self-mortification? Why they practice that kind of religions, philosophies? Why they practice self-mortification? They torture themselves, right? Their bodies, practicing self-mortification. Why? They believed after the death, even though our body would be decay, but our soul does not decay. It is exists forever. It is permanent. Right? After the death, our body would be decay. Someone can cremate our body, but our soul, no one can cremate our soul. It is exists forever. That is why they need to control their soul. That is why they practice self-mortification. Lots of religious teachers during the time of the Buddha, they practiced self-mortification. They tortured themselves. Right? They tortured themselves. Practicing self-mortification. That is why ascetic Gautama also, right? They practiced self-mortification because the theory was so popular during the time. Why, I will explain in my biography of the Buddha in the next day, the Gonadeniya, the ascetic Gonadeniya, he mentioned at the palace, right, at the naming ceremony, so in one finger, this prince certainly will be the Buddha. Right, at the palace. The Bodhisattva's naming ceremony, the Gonadeniya was there, right? So in one finger, he mentioned that this prince certainly will be the Buddha. But same Gonadeniya, he was with the during the time of the self-mortification of the ascetic Gautama. The Bodhisattva, when he started middle path practice, right? Noble middle path, then Gonadeniya thought he cannot be the Buddha, no need to attend him, and with his friends they went away. Same Gonadeniya. But at the naming ceremony, others said two things, but he saw in one finger, he said, no, this prince would not stay in the palace. Certainly he will renounce. He will be Buddha. But when Bodhisattva started to practice abandoning the self-mortification, he started to practice the middle path. Gonadeniya went away with his friends. Right? What is the reason? They believed one can be the Buddha, but through the self-mortification. Right? One can be the Buddha, but he has to be attained to the Buddhahood through the self-mortification. That is why when Bodhisattva started practice middle path, Gonadeniya and his friend went away from him. Right? Can you understand? Can you understand what I am saying? Huh? Two extremes. Because the self-indulgent people, the other part, they believe there is nothing after death. After the cremation, no one can come again. Therefore, when we live, we have to live happily, practicing whatever things. Doing whatever thing. We have to live happily. The other group. Those who practice self-indulgence. They said, we have to live happily, doing whatever things. Because after the cremation, no one can come again. Right? Yeah, but Buddha, in his first sermon, he rejected those two extremes. Ubo ante anupagama majjima patipada tathagatena abhisambuddha. Right? Ubo ante means the two extremes. Yo chayang kamesu kama sukallika anuyogo, yo chayang atta kilamata anuyogo. Right? Rejecting these two extremes, Buddha introduced the middle path. Only one path in this, that means in this monastic life or any other life, that means in Buddhism, only one path. We have to practice Leo, monastico, we all have to follow the middle path only, no other path. No other path, only middle path. Middle path related to the control of our body, control of our speech, control of our mind. Right? The summary of the Buddhism is Buddha advises us to control ourselves, our body, speech and mind. That is the thing we have to do. If we can control those three doors, then he can go ahead in our spiritual life. Cannot? We don't know. Right? The main religions in the world, those are the 62 religions, but all are connected with those two major philosophies. Right? Nihilism and eternalism. Nihilism and eternalism. Eternalism, those who introduce eternalism, they taught to practice self-mortification. Those who taught nihilism, they taught self-indulgence. To practice self-indulgence. No need to spend any spiritual life. Whatever we can, whatever we feel, we can do it. And we can spend happy life after death. Nothing happened, according to them. But Buddha rejected those ideas. Okay? Questions about renunciation. Why do they feel to urge renounce and search of ultimate freedom? Why? Why? Because the rapid journey, rapid solution. We can practice as a lay people also, but monastic life support us to attain our objectives soon than others, than lay people. Right? Is renunciation essential for liberation? No. No. Why you are practicing as a lay people? You can attain to the final goal, right? You can be a stream enterer. You can be a once returner. You can be a non-returner as a lay person. You can realize the Dhamma as a layperson. But you have lots of problems in your house. That is why it is so hard to practice living in the house. That is why monasticism is best place, right, to practice Dhamma. Practice Dhamma. Many lay disciples of the Buddha could gain noble knowledge by being non-monastic and overcoming the problems and sufferings without renunciation. However, there are differences between monastic and non-monastic. Okay, many people, when we read the Buddhist history, Buddha's biography, lots of layperson, they became nobles. As example, in the last sutta, Parinirvana Sutta, when Buddha was at the village called Nadika, Venerable Ananda asks the next birth of the certain disciples, okay, who died, who already had died. The Venerable Ananda asks Venerable Sir, where they be born, and like that, okay. Then Buddha mentioned their birthplaces, but at that moment Buddha mentioned at that village, according to Buddha, more than 500 stream enterers. More than 500 stream, those lay people among the lay society, right? Those who are not the monastic. More than 500 people were stream enterers in the Nadika village. More than 90 people, they were the once returner, Sakadagami. More than 50 people, they were the non-returners, Anagami, right? That is the noble lay society. No, lay people also can practice Dhamma, they can realize Dhamma, but they have lots of problem in their homes. That is the problem. That is why the renunciation is very important. We have no problem. We have no any problem. We have to practice Dhamma. But sometimes some people, they forcefully they engage with the problems. That is the other thing, okay? But as a monastic, we spend free life. We need not to think about our homes, our relatives. We are free from them. No any defilements. No any duties to do them, right? Who is the most suitable person for renunciation? Those who want to realize Dhamma soon. Right? One who wants to realize this Dhamma soon. They have to, the better solution is renunciation. They have to renounce. Then they can practice, that means strongly, than the lay people. What are the rules and codes must follow? Actually, now you have observed 10 precepts, right? 10 precepts. But even though you have 10 precepts, not only 10 precepts, you have another lots of policies to follow. Especially 75 sekyas. There are 75. How to arrange our robes, how to take our food, right? The many things as a samanera, but in this moment you need not do temporary ordination, but as a samanera, they have to follow more than 75 policies. They have to control their 3 doors, practicing those things, right? Therefore, the Samaneras also, especially 10 precepts, but other duties, they have to perform duties for their senior monks, for their teachers, right? They have temple activities and duties, right? As a Samaneras, they have to perform duties. And also as a high ordination monks, right? Monks have 227 rules, nuns have 311 rules. But Buddha never promulgated rules without any reason. All the rules were promulgated as a result of certain incidents. Right? Some people, those who have certain evil habits, right? They continue their habits as a monk. Then Buddha had to control them. That is why Buddha promulgated rules. But without reason, Buddha never promulgated rules for monks or nuns. First 20 years, there were no any rules in the dispensation. The first 20 years, right? Only 3 verses. Have you heard verses Sabbapapa Sakarana? Now I chanted after the puja, right? Sabbapapa Sakarana, like that. Not to do any evil, practice wholesome, right? The control mind, practice meditation. That is the advice of the Buddha, instruction of the Buddha. Like that, 3 verses only we call Ovada Pratimoksha. Ovada Pratimoksha. Right? Only no rule. Buddha did not promulgate rules without any reason. When some problems arose, when people accused for the monks considering their evil habits, then Buddha, considering the situation, Buddha promulgated rules. But those rules for higher ordinated monks, that means Upasampada monks, not for the Samaneras. But Samaneras also have to practice the monastic policies, right? They have custom to perform their teachers, right? The Vinaya texts explain those things. It is not the time to discuss those things in this moment. Why did Buddha follow the strict method to grant ordination in Buddhist dispensation? Because considering the views of the people. Considering the views of the people. At the very beginning, Buddha did not consider anything to give the ordination. But later, Buddha had two instructed monks for certain things to consider, right? When give the ordination for the lay people, later some qualities had been checked. Some qualities, right? At the very beginning, Buddha did not check it because people accused to the monks due to certain things. Can they attain final goal of renunciation? Yes. If they practice hard, they can attain their final goal. Right? If they practice hard, they can attain. Why renunciation then? The difference between monastic and lay duties, okay? This is the difference. The journey of the swan and peacock. Have you heard this story? Who is swan? The birds on the water, right? In the pond especially, right? Swan and peacock. Have you seen peacock and swan? Right? Who is the swan? Who is the peacock? Layperson and monastic. When we compare to the lay people and monastic, to these two birds, who is swan? Who is peacock? What do you think about that? Devotees are peacock, right? That's like a peacock, right? Yeah. Swans like, monks like swan. Because swans can run past on the water than peacock, right? Because peacock has huge feathers, right? That is why they cannot run fast. They have some colors in the body, right? The lay people wear in different kind of color clothes, right? Like that. That means they have a lot of problems, lot of issues in their life. The monks like a swan can run fast than peacock. That is why the monks can approach to the Nibbana soon than the lay people. Right? But we must understand the differences of the people. Sometimes the lay people can immediately attain to the Nibbana than the monks. Right? We have to understand the knowledge and the practice. The gradual sermon of the Buddha. Okay. Have you heard gradual sermon of the Buddha? Some people, they came to the Buddha and to listen to the Dhamma, but Buddha did not explain the deep Dhamma immediately, because this Dhamma is so difficult to understand. It is not easy. It is like a swim to the up to the water, against to the stream. Swim against to the stream. It is like a swim against to the stream. Patisotagami. Gambhira. It is deep. Duddha Sang. It is hard to see. It is not easy to see this Dhamma. Hard to see. Raga Rattana Dakkinti. The craving and lust active in our mind, we cannot see this Dharma. Right? That is why we practice. Reduce the power of the craving and lust and anger and like that. Then when in occasions, Buddha made this sermon, gradual sermon. Firstly, he explained the story of dana, generosity. He did not start from the Four Noble Truth. He started from the generosity. How to practice generosity, right? The normal people visited the Buddha. Buddha did not explain Four Noble Truth immediately. Firstly, he made this gradual sermon. Firstly, he discussed about the generosity, dana kata. Then he discussed about the sila kata, virtuous. Right? Information about the virtuous. Then he discussed about the sagga kata, the heavens, information about the heavens, sagga kata. Then fourth, he discussed about the kamanang adinavanam, disadvantage of the sensual pleasure. Right? At the very beginning, he did not discuss or explain the disadvantages of sensual pleasure. Considering the situation, the condition of the mind, nature of the mind of the listener, Buddha started from the generosity. He talks with the information about the generosity, how to practice generosity, what is generosity, what are the results of generosity, like that. He talks about generosity. Then the virtue. Then the how it resulted in the heaven, sagga kata, in the heaven. And then kamanang adinavanam. Right? Later he explained the disadvantages of the sensual pleasure. Then okara sankilesam, how beings bend to the evil, and some beings how they purify, how they decay and purify. Right? How they became evil, how they become purified. Okara Sanglesa. Then he explained the advantages of the renunciation. Nekkamyanisansa. Advantages of the renunciation. After that, when listener, hear that kind of sermon, his mind gradually become purified. It's become pure. Right? His defilements gradually is fading away. Gradually fading away. At that point, Buddha made his Samukkansika Desana. It's called Four Noble Truth. Then the listeners easily could realize the Dhamma. Right? They easily could realize the Dhamma as a result of the gradual sermon. Because when Buddha preached that gradual sermon, the disciple who is in front of the Buddha, he or she can pure his mind from the defilements. Then, as a result of that, when Buddha explained the Four Noble Truths, he or she easily catch the Dhamma. They could catch the Dhamma easily. That is the gradual sermon. Okay, this is the gradual practice. At the very beginning, no one can become Arahant. Okay, you cannot be Arahant at the very beginning. We have to practice. Now you started. You have to continue. It is up to you. No one can do it on behalf of you. You are the person who can do it. You have all the responsibilities. We have no responsibilities. We cannot make understand you. We can show the path and we can give information only. Right? We have to practice ourselves. Attahi attano nato koi nato parosya. Our master is ourselves. Others cannot do anything to us. Right? We have to practice ourselves. Others cannot do it. That is why this is the gradual practicum. We have to practice step by step. Now you observe 10 precepts, right? Now you can if you wish, you can again practice temporary ordination after this one, or you can continue this ordination according to your wish. According to your wish. What is the aim of our renunciation? To reduce the power of the defilements, to control ourselves. The Four Noble Truths, that is the gradual sermon. Finally, Buddha, celibacy like a pure conch. Have you heard the conch, pure conch? One of fish in the ocean, conch. Right? Conch means shell of the some of fish. Shell we keep in houses also sometimes. The white conch shell of the fish. Some people they have collect those things. Then they keep in their homes conch. Don't you know conch? Yeah. Conch. It's a white, right? White conch. The pure conch, this celibacy is like a pure conch. It has been mentioned in the Sutta discourses. Buddha's sermon is the Adi Kalyana. The first part also good. Majje Kalyana. Second part also good. Paryosana Kalyana. Last part also good. Right? All the parts of the sermons are very important. We cannot avoid any part of the sermon. Right? Buddha explained, right, beneficial dharma for the people. Beneficial dharma. Sattan sabhyanjanam kevala paripurnam parisuddham. Pure celibacy. Buddha introduced pure celibacy. No any hole or no any deity in that celibacy. It is so pure, so clear. It is like a clean, pure conch. Sankha likita brahmacharya. Sankha likitam brahmacharya. Buddha's celibacy is like a pure conch. So pure, no dirty, no black, no any damage. It is aimed to the nirvana, get rid of suffering. It is directly aimed to the nibbana. Nibbana means final goal, right? Final goal. It is directly aims nirvana. Nirvana. It is like a pure conch. Then to practice three trainings. What is that? Sila, Samadhi, Prajna. Sila, you know Sila, virtue, right? Samadhi, concentration. Prajna, wisdom. In the middle path, Sila represent right speech, right action, right livelihood. Sila, right? What is Samadhi? Concentration in the middle path. Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. That is the Samadhi, concentration. Prajna, actually at the very beginning also the wisdom, but you know that after the eightfold path, there are another two, right? That is why called Dasahange Samanagato Arahati Uchati. 10 parts in the middle path. When we became an Arahant, another two support us, Samma Jnana, Samma Vimutti, right knowledge and right liberation. Right liberation. This is the training, gradual training. Then at the end of the suffering, right, that is called the Arahant, right? After attaining to the Arahant, we can end all the sufferings. Release from the tangle of the samsara. Once deity come into the Buddha and ask, Venerable Sir, we are entangling in the samsara. How we can release from this tangle? What is the Buddha's answer? Sile patittaya naro sapanyo chittam panyancha bhavayam. Atapi nipako bhikko soimam vidhi. Standing on the sila virtue, right, we have to practice concentration. We have to develop our mind. And also we have to develop our wisdom. We have to develop our wisdom. Right? Then, after destroying the defilements, then one can entangle. The distangle of the tangle. You can remove the tangle. Right? And non-attachment, nikama, it is connected with the renunciation. What is nikama? Non-attachment or nikama, no passion, is one of the parts of the renunciation. Giving up greed, ill will and ignorance also can be identified as the nekama. That is the purpose of it. Innumerable defilements are at work in our minds. The person who renounced the household life tries to control or destroy those fetters bound to the sansaric encircle. Some says 1500 defilements in our mind. 1500 defilements. All are rooted from three roots. Lobha, Dvesa, Moha. Craving, ill will and ignorance. Right? All are arise from those three. We have lecture in the future related to those things, okay? Then, nikama, nekkamma. We need to away from these defilements. That is why we renounce. Right? And other three things, when we talk about the renunciation, these three also very important: gratification, disadvantage, and escape. Gratification means asad. Disadvantage means adinava. Escape means nissarana. When we talk about the renunciation, we have to pay our attention to this topic also. What is that? Buddha has explained what is this, okay? I quoted the sutta. Buddha has said how Buddha explained this asada, gratification, how Buddha explained the disadvantage, and how Buddha explained the escape. The nature of the beautiful objects and how people react, them have been mentioned. That is the gratification. There are 5 pleasant and beautiful objects that beings have been attached to. They are form, sounds, odor, tasty, and contact. These are the objects, right, we attach to. Okay, tell me, I would like to ask a question, break in your silence. Tell me, what is the most powerful one among them? People strongly, what is the most powerful one that people strongly attach to among these 5? Sound?
Form.
Sorry? Form. How about you? Contact. It is not the form, it is not the sound, it is not the odor, it is not the tasty, it is not the contact. It is depend on the occasion. Right? If we are hungry, we need not anything, we need to eat something. Right? If you have cold, we need warm, nothing else. Right? Occasionally it is change, occasionally depends on the situation, right? We can say this one is more powerful, this one is more powerful. No. Right? We need 5 things occasionally. It is changed time to time. This moment, I know you want to change your posture. Right? Sometimes you may need to something to drink. Right? You need not to listen Dhamma sometimes. If you are so hungry, you don't like to listen Dhamma because your problem is hungry. I think you can bear your hungry because at the interview you told us you can bear it. But, if you are hungry, you need not to listen Dhamma. You need not to practice meditation. You have to eat something. Right? It is dependent on occasion. Right? These are the objects are beautiful, attractive, agreeable, and lovely. People attach to these things. They are related to sensual pleasure. Because all the beings, they like to see the beautiful forms, they like to listen beautiful sound, right? They like beautiful objects. They like beautiful objects. This is the gratification, okay? Having seen a young girl, whatever joy, pleasure, lovely feeling appear in the youngster's mind, it is identified as gratification. Right? Youngster, if young boy sees a young girl, same age girl, beautiful girl, he feel like that. He has lovely feeling. That is gratification. Gratification. Right? Like this picture related to the story of the Kema. Do you know the story of the Kema? Kim Bimbisara consort? No? It's a very beautiful story, okay? Then, what is the disadvantage? However, the pleasant sensation do not appear when seeing the same girl as an older woman in her 80s or 90s as an ugly form due to her adulteration. Her attractiveness slowly vanishes and different sicknesses change her body. Right? That's the disadvantage. Danger, right? Danger. This is word of the Buddha, not my words, okay? This is the word of the Buddha. Then later, the dead body is discarded in a cemetery and decays. It is becoming skeletal step by step, and finally everything would be die out. Then at that moment, the wise person think about the escape. Escape. That the asada Adinava, Nissarana. Asa, the gratification, right? Every beings, they are attached to gratification. They have gratification. But only wise people see the disadvantages of the beautiful objects. Without wisdom, no one can see the disadvantage. Right? They cannot see the disadvantage. The most wise people, they can escape realizing the nature of the body. It is common to the ladies also, okay? It's seen the boy or something else like that. The Buddha has given this simile to a man. That is why it is mentioned about the lady. But the other side also, same thing. Aims of renunciation, right? This is the aims of the renunciation, to control the 5 faculties: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. Right? No question. Objects, what are the objects of the 5 faculties? Form, sound, odor or smell, taste and contact. These are the objects of the 5 faculties. We use 5 faculties, take that objects. Right? We attach with them by mind. We attach with them. There is a sutta, actually Indriya Bhavana Sutta. The youngster Uttara, he met the Buddha. And at that moment, Buddha questioned him how your teacher control his students. Then he replied to the Buddha, Venerable Sir, our teacher tame our students. He advised us not to see form, not to listen the sound, not to smell the odor, like that, right? That is the way my teacher control his students, tame his students. Buddha mentioned, if it is, the blind people and the people who cannot listen, who have the disabled people are the good practitioners. That is not the way. Buddha rejected, right? But without seeing the form, that is not the way. Buddha mentioned, control our mind, right? That we can see the forms, but we have to control our mind. That is the method Buddha introduced. Without seeing the form, that is not the way, right? Without listening the sound, that is not the method to control our mind. Buddha like a lion. He can see, he show the method how to control seeing the form, how to control our mind, listening to any kind of sound, right? How to control our mind, smelling, good smell, or contacting, or tasty, the different kind of tasty, experiencing. That is the way Buddha rejected that youngsters, teachers method. Not seen, yeah? The Buddha explained how to control feelings of the people. According to him, disciples should see the nature of the objects. They have to understand the nature of the objects. Impermanence and disadvantages. Is it clear? Is it clear? The path. Sila. This is the path of the monastic. Okay? Sila, virtue. What is virtue? Control the body and speech. Abstain from killing, stealing and sexual misconduct as a lay people. But as a monastic, you observe Abhrahmacharya. That means you are practicing celibacy, right? We have no chance to think about any kind of sensual pleasure activities. And speech, abstain from lying, slandering, harsh word and gossiping. We have to stop these things. We have to stop. Samadhi, concentration, for mindfulness, right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration. This is the way, the monastic path, spiritual path. Sila, Samadhi. We have to control our body and words, speech. The Sila support us to control our body and speech, words. And then Samadhi support us to control our mind. Right? Panya, wisdom, it is related to destruction of the defilements. How many defilements? 1500, right? 1500 defilements. How many fetters? 10 fetters. 10 fetters. We have to destroy 10 fetters. When we destroy 10 fetters, automatically 1500 defilements disappear from the mind. Right? When we practice Sila Samadhi Prajna, then 10 fetters disappear from the mind. And all the defilements disappear in our mind. We can dispel all the evil thoughts and other feelings if we practice strongly, right? If we practice Eightfold Path. Insight meditation. To destroy the defilements, Buddha recommend insight meditation. Anicca Dukkha Anatta, right? It is related to Anicca Dukkha Anatta. Importance of Vinaya. What is the purpose of virtue? Virtues support us to remorse. Do you know the remorse? Do you know the remorse? Right? Regret, like remorse. The virtues support us to dispel remorse. Becoming a virtuous one, we can remorse. Remorse is a problem in our mind. Right? What is the benefits of the remorse? What is the purpose of the free from the remorse? Remorse support us to generate joy. If there is no remorse, then joy arises in our mind. Then joy support us to generate the rapture. Rapture in the mind. I am explaining the one of Sutta, okay? Buddha mentioned like this. What is the purpose of the rapture? Rapture has the serenity and its purpose. Serenity. You know, serenity, joy. Serenity, joy. And purpose of the serenity. What is the purpose of the serenity? Serenity has pleasure and its purpose. Pleasure. What is the purpose of pleasure? Pleasure has concentration as its purpose. It's supposed to create the concentration, generate concentration. Right? What is the purpose of the concentration? What for concentration? The knowledge and vision. For the final knowledge and vision. It supports us to attain to the nirvana. Nirvana. What is the purpose of the knowledge and vision? Disattachment. To away from all the attachments, right? In this moment we can free from all the attachment. When clear vision arises in our mind, at that moment we can abandon everything that related to attachment or desire or craving or ill will or ignorance. We can avoid, yeah. What is the purpose of the disattachment? At that moment of dispassion. Dispassion. Dispassion support us to the insight knowledge, vidarsana, vipassana jnana. Vipassana jnana, insight knowledge. Insight knowledge. Okay? This is the final knowledge, vimukti. Liberation arises through the insight knowledge. Insight knowledge. Any question? I am explaining, yes.
You
Yes.
I can't figure out what are the 4
Yeah, actually, Venerable, in our future lessons, we explain 4 mindfulness: mindfulness of body, mindfulness of feeling, mindfulness of mind, mindfulness of Dhamma. Those are the 4 mindfulness. In future lessons, we explain with details. Okay, when we talk about the Eightfold Path, in the Eightfold Path, we have another lecture related to Eightfold Path. In that lecture, we are going to explain those mindfulness in detail. Okay, mindfulness related to body, mindfulness related to our feelings, mindfulness related to our mind, mindfulness related to Dhamma. Right? In that lecture, you can get more information. Okay. Now keep in your mind there are 4. Those are the 4. Okay.
Bhante, you mentioned earlier about something like the Buddha upon enlightenment. One of the earliest things is his sermons is about spinning the Dhamma wheel or something like that.
Dhammacakka Sutta. Yes, first Sutta of the Buddha. Yes.
What is that spinning of the Dhamma wheel all about?
Dhamma wheel. Yeah. Okay. Then Dhammacakkappavattana, it's a Dhamma is like a wheel, right? It is so Dhammacakkappavattana, that means it can roll the Dhamma, right? It can roll the Dhamma, but Dhamma is not like a roll, but it can be delivered, right? It would be the beneficial for the worlds, okay? Dhammacakka, the Four Noble Truths, that's the sometimes Eightfold Path, it's like that symbol, it's like a wheel, that is why it is connected each other. That is why it's identified as the wheel. All the parts we have to practice. It is connected with all. One part connect with each other. All the parts connect with each other. But we have to practice all the parts of the Eightfold Path to become a noble person. In the certain stages, the certain levels actually have been introduced, that when we destroy the defilements, when we practice the Eightfold Path, when we destroy the defilements and when disappear the defilements, we can attain the certain noble levels. But we have to think about all the parts of the Eightfold Path, right? It is explained like a wheel actually. Four Noble Truths. Yeah, interconnected, yeah. A name of the Vinaya rule, but I am not going to explain more than that because you are the Samaneras, but you need not to think about that, but you have to think about that, why Buddha made some rules for the monks, right? For the easiness of the monastic monks, and to stop the evil acts of the bad monks, okay? And also the support to the good monks, right? That is why Buddha promulgated rules. And also to support the defilements related to this life, right? To suppress the defilements, and to destroy the defilements that generate evil consequences in the next life. That is why Buddha made rules for monks, and also for the benefits of the unfaith people, right? For the advantages of the faith lay devotees, right? When monks do those customs, that means practice obeying to the rules, the lay people, they like to see that kind of monks, the well-trained monks, right? Lay people also wish to see the well-trained, well-practiced monks, not the unobedient, so arrogant monks, right? They don't like to see them, right? They like to see always the well-trained, well-behaved, right, monks. That is why Buddha mentioned. And so for the long life of the Dhamma, Vinaya rules support us to control ourselves, then it is longevity of the sasana. It's supposed to the longevity of the sasana. Vinayo nama sasana sayu. Vinayatite sasanang titang hoti. When exists the Vinaya, then sasana exists. When disappear the Vinaya, sasana will disappear. Right? And they're supposed to the discipline. It is supposed to the discipline. And also the foremost, the leader after the Buddha. Buddha never recommended any leader after the Buddha. He mentioned the Dhamma and Vinaya, right, would be your teacher after my Parinirvana. The age of the dispensation. The dispensation exists when exists the Vinaya, right, what we discussed before. And also the Vinaya, then when Vinaya exists, then dispensation exists. Right? When the Vinaya does not exist, then the dispensation also does not exist. Right? What are the why are there many rules for monks to tame, then actually to control their evil habits? Some untamed monks, because different people, they entered order from the different social backgrounds, right? They continued their life as a layperson even though they entered the order. That is why some people, the devotees, accused, they condemn some activities of that kind of monks. Then therefore Buddha had to control them. That is why he made rules for them. And the first 20 years of the Buddha never promulgated any rules for the monks, right? Only for the instruction, only for the recollections, right, of the Dhamma. He did not promulgate any rules. But when monks started break the policies, break the celibacy, then Buddha had to promulgate the rules, right? The 10 precept, now you observe 10 precept, right? Different kind of precept. 5 precept, 8 precept, 9 precept, 10 precept, right? Or Samanera Dasasila, Samanera and high ordained monks, they have to observe that the precept, not the precept, rules. They have to obey the rules, those promulgated by the Buddha. Then I'm not going to explain these things, okay? During the time of the Buddha, some people, they entered order with the different purposes, right? In the certain suttas explain those purposes. But in Rattapala Sutta, the 4 purposes have been mentioned. The first one is life is unsafe and subtraction. That means Venerable Rattapala explained as an answer to the king why he entered the order, why he became a monk, right? Because the king mentioned some people entered the order due to their social problems, right? When they lost their relatives, lost their wealth, lost their different kind of, that means in their old age, right? Different problems. But Venerable Rattapala mentioned, I am not like that. I entered order seeing the true Dhamma of the Buddha, right? I needed to realize the Dhamma. These are the things Venerable Rattapala shows in the Dhamma, right? Life unsafe, then subtraction. That is the one reason Venerable Rattapala became a monk. And also life has no protection, right? That is the reason Rattapala became a monk. Life has nothing of its own, right? All must live without properties. Without properties. Then life is imperfect and the slave of craving, right? That is the four objectives Venerable Rattapala decided to become a monk, spend a holy life, monastic life. These are some kind of famous non-returners, right? As a layperson, they could attain to this level. This is the non-returners. Before the Arahantut, one can attain to non-return stage. These people, these are the famous people, but not only these, the thousands of people during the time of the Buddha, they passed away as the non-returners. That means the lay people also can attain to the highest stage of the noble path, actually. Okay? Don't worry about you are practicing Dasasil, right, without being a nun, but you can develop your spiritual life as a lay person, right? Determination and well practice is very important. And also the wrong views, I'm not going to explain that. If a monks, if you follow the Buddhist method, you have to avoid these kind of wrong views, right? If you have these kind of views, you are not the real monk. You have to away from these kind of wrong views, right? Buddha did not answer for these questions. Buddha rejected to answer these questions because we need not to think about that, right? Buddha vehemently rejected nihilism and eternalism. Buddha recommended the middle path, okay? And these are the other points, the very important suttas. This is not the time to discuss, okay? Very important suttas. I thought to discuss, but no more time to discuss it. And cessation of suffering. Then the Metta Sutta, loving kindness sutta, the last verse mentioned like this. Dittincha anupagamma silava dasanena sampanno kamesu viniyagedan nahijatu gabbasiyam punna. What we chanted in the evening, okay? The last verse, the meaning of that, not falling into wrong views, right? We have to away from the wrong views and being a virtuous, right? You are now practicing the virtuous life and endowed with the insight, wisdom, with desire for sensual pleasure dispelled. We have to dispel that sensual pleasure, and then that kind of disciple never return to the mother's womb. That means they can end their sansaric life, okay? Then please aim that one to end your sansaric life practicing this kind of spiritual practice. Okay, this is the end of the presentation, but now we have another 5 minutes. If you have questions, I can answer, okay? Yeah. I wanted to give an instruction for your new life, okay? That was with the Dhamma, quoting the Buddha's sermons. And yeah, that is the aim of this presentation, this lecture, right? Yes.
My impression is that overall, it's better to be a monk than a lay person.
Yes.
After listening to all that.
Yeah. It is like a life of the swan, right? Everything is crystal clear. Okay, then now wind up for the session, and then keep in your mind this Dhamma, and don't forget your precepts, okay? Early in the morning also, please. Next day morning, you are awakened as a new one, okay? Yeah, today you awoke as a lay person, but next morning you awake as a monastic one and the upasika, special upasika, and please keep in your mind, okay? Now we wind up the session. May the Buddha bless you. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddapachayino chattaro dhamma vaddanti ayuvanno sukham balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti minate samicchatu. Have a good night.